I always believed I knew everything about my daughter. I raised her through storms and sunshine, held her when she cried, celebrated her when she succeeded. A mother can sense her child's joys and secrets. Or so I thought. But life has a way of humbling us. It was late one summer afternoon when the truth came to me, wrapped not in a whisper but in a sudden revelation. I was sitting at my kitchen table, hands folded over a cup of tea gone cold, when a young man appeared at my door. His eyes were the mirror of my daughter's when she was 16. "Are you Mrs. Elena?" he asked softly, almost afraid of his own voice. "Yes," I said cautiously. "And you are?" He hesitated, shifting his weight, then spoke the words that changed everything. "I think I'm your grandson." The room spun. My breath caught. I laughed, not in joy but in disbelief. "That's impossible. My daughter has 2 children. My only grandchildren are Anna and Samuel. But the boy, no, the young man, shook his head. She had me before them, when she was just a teenager. She never told you, but she told me I could find you one day." The world seemed to fall silent, as if even the ticking of the clock held its breath. My heart pounded painfully against my chest. My daughter? Pregnant as a teenager? A child she had never spoken of? How could I not have known? I gripped the edge of the table, trying to steady myself. Shame, disbelief, anger, and something else, something dangerous, rose within me. The desperate need to know if it was true. "Come inside," I whispered, my voice barely audible. He stepped in cautiously, as though afraid I might slam the door shut. His hands trembled, but his gaze was steady. "I didn't come here to cause trouble," he said quickly. I wanted to see you, to know you." My knees weakened and I sank into the chair. Memories of my daughter's teenage years flooded back. The sudden mood swings, the quiet nights when she claimed she was studying at a friend's house, the mornings she seemed pale and distant. Had I missed the signs? Had she carried this secret under my very roof, hidden beneath my own blind love? I searched his face, and the truth was undeniable. The resemblance was too strong to dismiss. He was hers, which meant he was mine. Tears stung my eyes. Why didn't she tell me?" I whispered, more to myself than to him. He lowered his gaze. "She said she was scared. She said she didn't want to disappoint you, that you had sacrificed so much, and she couldn't bear to let you down." The words pierced me like a knife. My daughter, hiding something so monumental out of fear of me. Had I been so strict, so unyielding, that she thought she couldn't come to me with the truth? Shame washed over me, heavier than any storm. I looked back at the young man, my grandson. His hands were rough, as though life had not been easy. His eyes carried both strength and sadness, and yet he stood before me, not with anger, but with hope. "I don't know what to say," I admitted. "All these years, I had no idea." "You don't have to say anything," he replied gently. "I just wanted to meet you. I wanted to know where I came from." I reached out, almost without thinking, and took his hand. It was warm, trembling slightly in mine. A strange feeling rushed through me. Love, fierce and protective, but tangled with grief for the years lost. "You came from love," I whispered, though my voice broke. "Even if it was hidden, even if it was buried in silence, you were born of love. And now you are here, and you are mine." He blinked, his lips trembling, and for the first time, a small smile broke across his face. But after he left that day, I sat alone in the silence of my kitchen, questions crashing through me like waves. How could my daughter keep this from me? How could she carry this secret all these years? And now, faced with the truth, how was I supposed to reconcile pride with shame, anger with love? As the evening deepened, I whispered to myself, "I have a grandson, and I never knew." And in that whisper was both a wound and the faint beginning of healing. That night, I barely slept. I sat in my chair by the window, watching the moon crawl across the sky. My heart wrestled with too many feelings. Shock, confusion, guilt, and something I could not name. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his face. My grandson, the child who had lived a life parallel to ours, just beyond my reach. By morning, I knew I could not keep this to myself. I needed answers. I needed to hear the truth from the one person who could give it. My daughter. I called her, my hands trembling as I pressed the phone to my ear. "Come see me," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. "It's important." She arrived later that day, cheerful at first, carrying a basket of fruit as she always did. But when she saw the look on my face, her smile faltered. "Sit down," I said softly, motioning to the chair across from me. She sat, her eyes scanning my face nervously. "Mother, what's wrong?" I took a deep breath. Yesterday, someone came to see me. A young man. I saw her stiffen, her hands gripping the basket tighter. She knew. Without a word, she knew. He said, I continued, my voice shaking, "that he is my grandson, that he is your son." Her eyes filled with tears instantly, and her head dropped. For a moment she said nothing, only sat trembling in silence. "It's true, isn't it?" I pressed, though my heart already knew the answer. She nodded, tears sliding down her cheeks. "Yes, Mama, it's true." I felt my whole body weaken. I leaned back, gripping the arms of my chair, staring at her as if I were seeing her for the first time. "Why didn't you tell me? How could you hide something like this from me? From your own mother?" She covered her face with her hands. "I was 16, Mama. 16, scared, ashamed. I thought you would hate me. I thought you would look at me and see nothing but failure." Her words stabbed deep, sharper than any blade. "You thought I would hate you? My own child?" My voice cracked, half broken, half angry. "Do you know how it feels? To learn I had a grandson I never knew about. That he grew up without me, without us? Do you know the years we lost?" She sobbed. "I know, Mama, I know. And I've carried that guilt every day of my life. But I couldn't tell you. I saw how hard you worked for us, how much pride you carried in our family. I couldn't bear to ruin that image." I shook my head, tears spilling down my cheeks now. "You didn't ruin anything. You ruined us by hiding him, by shutting me out, by making me a stranger to my own blood." The silence between us was thick, heavy with everything unsaid. Finally, she whispered, "I loved him, Mama. I loved him enough to let him be raised in a way I couldn't provide at that time. I thought I was protecting both him and you. But as the years passed, the silence became heavier. I wanted to tell you so many times, but I was afraid it would break us apart." I looked at her, at the little girl I once held. Now a woman carrying her own secret scars. Anger and sorrow battled within me. But beneath them both was something deeper. Love. Love that refused to die, even under betrayal. "You should have trusted me," I said quietly. "Even if I was strict, even if I expected too much, you should have trusted me with the truth. Because secrets, they always come back, and they always hurt more in the end." She nodded, unable to stop her tears. "You're right, Mama, and I'm sorry. More sorry than I can ever say." We sat in silence, our tears mingling with the weight of the years lost. Finally, I whispered, "He came here looking for family. He is searching for love, for belonging, and I intend to give it to him. I don't care what mistakes were made or how it happened. He is mine, he is ours, and I won't lose another day." She looked up, her eyes wide with both relief and fear. "You want to see him again?" "Yes," I said firmly. "I want to know him. I want to love him. And I want you to stop hiding. No more secrets. No more shame. We will face this together." Her shoulders sagged as if a heavy burden had finally been lifted. She reached for my hand, squeezing it tightly. "Thank you, Mama. I was so afraid you'd turn him away." "Turn him away?" I shook my head, my voice trembling but strong. "He is flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. No secret can change that. Love is stronger than shame. Love is stronger than fear." For the first time in many years, I saw in her eyes not the fear of a daughter hiding a secret, but the hope of a daughter finding forgiveness. And in that moment, I realized this was not just about me and my grandson. It was about healing the broken places between mother and daughter, too. The next time my grandson came, it was different. The first meeting had been a storm of shock and questions. But now, my heart was steadier, though still trembling with the weight of this new reality. When I opened the door, I smiled. An honest, trembling smile. "Come in, my dear. I've been waiting for you." He looked uncertain at first, as though unsure of his welcome. But when he saw the warmth in my eyes, his shoulders relaxed, and he stepped inside. I had prepared little things. His favorite biscuits, tea, even a photograph album. I wanted him to know that, even though I had not known him before, I was ready to weave him into the fabric of my life now. We sat at the kitchen table again. He glanced at the photo album curiously. "Are these—" "Yes," I said softly. "These are pictures of your mother growing up. I thought you might like to see them." He opened the album with reverence, tracing the photographs with his fingers. She was so young, and so beautiful, I nodded, tears in my eyes. She was, and she still is. But she was also just a child when she had you, too young to carry that kind of burden alone. He looked at me then, his eyes filled with questions he didn't dare ask. "You must have wondered," I said gently, "why she never told me. Why she kept you a secret." He nodded silently. "She was afraid," I continued. "Afraid of judgment, afraid of disappointing me. But none of that matters now. What matters is this." I reached across the table and placed my hand over his. "You are here. You are family, and nothing can change that." His lips trembled and he whispered, "Do you really mean that?" I squeezed his hand, with all my heart. For the first time, I saw a light in his eyes, fragile but bright. Over the next weeks, our bond grew slowly, like a seed pushing through soil. He came often, sometimes bringing small gifts. A book he thought I'd like, flowers picked on his way. Other times he came empty-handed but full of stories. He told me about his childhood, the struggles, the loneliness of being the secret. How he sometimes felt like a shadow, belonging everywhere and nowhere at once. My heart ached with every word. I could not change his past, but I could offer him something now, a place where he was wanted, not hidden. One afternoon as we walked through my garden, he stopped and said, "Grandma, can I call you that?" My throat tightened. "Of course, my dear. That's exactly what you are to me. My grandson." His voice cracked. "I never had a grandmother before. Not one I knew, anyway." Tears filled my eyes as I pulled him into my arms. "And I never knew I had you. But from this day forward, you will never doubt it again. You are mine, and I am yours." But even as joy blossomed between us, shadows lingered in my heart. What would the neighbors say if they found out? What would extended family think when they learned of a grandson hidden for decades? The whispers, the gossip, the judgment. I could already hear them in my mind. That evening, as I stood at my window, I whispered to myself, "Will shame silence me again? Or will love give me courage?" The answer came the next morning when he returned, holding a small gift bag. "I wanted to give you this," he said shyly. Inside was a simple photo frame, empty. I thought, maybe you'd put a picture of us in it, if you want. The simplicity of the gesture broke me. He wasn't asking for riches or apologies or even explanations. All he wanted was a place in my home, a space in my heart. I took his face in my hands and said, "Yes, my dear, I will put our picture here, and when people come and ask, I will tell them proudly, this is my grandson." For the first time, I saw peace wash over him, as though a weight had been lifted from his young shoulders. And in that moment, I knew. Love had to be louder than shame. Pride had to be stronger than fear, because if I stayed silent, I would only repeat the mistakes of the past, So I resolved that day. I would never hide him. Not from the world. Not from anyone. He had lived long enough in the shadows. It was time to bring him into the light. It is one thing to welcome a secret into your own heart. It is another to lift that secret into the light of the world. For days I wrestled with the decision. My heart was firm. I wanted him to be mine, openly and without apology. But my mind was restless, filled with voices of the past. What will people say? What if they think I failed as a mother? What if they judge him unfairly? I thought back to my daughter, trembling as a teenager, hiding her pregnancy under loose sweaters, avoiding my gaze. She had lived in fear of judgment, and hadn't I, in my own way, also lived in that fear? Too proud? Too strict? Too desperate to protect our family name? But now I looked at this young man, my grandson, and I knew, if I kept him a secret, I would become the very chain that had bound his mother. I would repeat the silence that had hurt them both. So one Sunday, I decided to bring him with me to church. He looked nervous when I suggested it. "Are you sure, Grandma?" People will ask. They'll wonder who I am. I smiled, steadying him as much as myself. Then let them ask. And I will tell them the truth. It is time. When we walked into the church together, whispers rose immediately. Familiar faces turned, eyes widened. Some smiled politely. Others narrowed their brows in suspicion. I could almost hear the thoughts forming. Who is this young man? Why is he with her? After the service, an old neighbor approached. "Elena, I don't believe I've met your guest?" I held my grandson's hand firmly and lifted my chin. My voice did not tremble. "This is my grandson." The neighbor blinked, stunned. "Oh, I didn't realize your daughter had 3 children." "She does," I replied evenly. "This young man is her firstborn, and he is family. That's all anyone needs to know." The neighbor's lips pressed thin, but I did not care. For the first time in years, I felt no shame, only pride. My grandson squeezed my hand, and I saw tears glistening in his eyes. Later, as we sat together at home, he whispered, "Thank you for saying that, for claiming me. I was so afraid you'd keep me hidden too." I cupped his face gently. "No, my dear, you've been hidden long enough. From now on, I will never let anyone make you feel less than who you are." But the road ahead was not easy. Word spread quickly, as it always does in small towns. Some relatives called in confusion. One cousin asked bluntly, "Why didn't we know about him?" Another scolded, "This is a disgrace, Elena. You should have told us." I listened calmly and answered the same way each time. I did not know either, but now that I do, I will not deny him. He is my grandson. That is the truth, and I will stand by it. There were tears some nights. Tears of exhaustion, of anger, of the weight of other people's judgment. But every time I looked into his eyes, I remembered why it mattered. He deserved a family that was not ashamed of him. He deserved belonging. And slowly, something unexpected began to happen. While some people whispered, others reached out with kindness. A neighbor brought over cookies and said, "I think it's wonderful you found each other." A family friend hugged me after church and whispered, "Love is stronger than secrets. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise." Even my other grandchildren, Anna and Samuel, though shocked at first, began to grow curious. "Can we meet him properly?" Anna asked one evening. "If he's our cousin, we want to know him." And when they did meet, I watched a miracle unfold. The 3 of them, sitting together on the porch, laughing over silly stories, teasing one another as though they had always been family. My heart swelled with joy. The shadows of the past were giving way to light. One evening, as I sat beside my grandson in the garden, he turned to me and asked, "Grandma, do you regret it? Knowing now, do you regret that my mother didn't tell you earlier?" I thought carefully before answering. "I regret the years we lost. I regret that you grew up without my love, without my presence. But do I regret knowing now? Never. Because now that you are here, I cannot imagine my life without you." He smiled softly, and I saw peace settle over him. And in that moment, I realized something profound. Secrets may wound, shame may silence, but love has the power to heal what was broken, to restore what was lost. Time has a way of softening even the sharpest edges of pain. Weeks turned into months, and slowly, the storm that had shaken my family began to calm. But one wound remained unhealed, the distance between my daughter and me. She still had not spoken openly about her son. Whenever I tried to bring it up, she grew tense, her words clipped, her eyes evasive. It was as though she carried a wall inside her, built of shame and fear. But I knew that wall had to come down, for her sake, for his sake, for all of us. One evening I invited her to dinner. She arrived cautious, her smile polite but strained. I had set the table with care, cooking her favorite dishes, hoping the warmth of familiarity might soften her heart. We ate in silence for a while until I finally spoke. "My dear, we need to talk. About him." Her fork froze midair. "Mother, please!" "No!" I interrupted gently but firmly. "We cannot keep burying this truth. He is my grandson. He is your son. And he deserves more than silence." Her eyes filled with tears. "You don't understand. I was so young. I was terrified. I thought if I told you, you'd be ashamed of me, that you'd never look at me the same again." I reached across the table and took her trembling hands in mine. "Do you know what hurts me most? That you believed I would choose shame over you, that you carried this burden alone, thinking I would not stand by you. I am sorry if I ever made you feel that way." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I just wanted to protect you, and him. I thought it was better if no one knew." I squeezed her hands tightly. "But hiding love is never protection. It is a wound, and now we must heal it, together." At that moment the door creaked open. He had come early, unaware of our conversation. When he saw us, he froze. My daughter turned, her face pale. Mother and son stood only a few feet apart, both bound by years of silence. I stood slowly. "This is your moment. Don't let it pass." For a long, breathless minute, neither moved. Then with trembling steps he approached. "Mom?" His voice cracked. "I never wanted to make things harder for you. I just wanted to know you, to be part of you." Her tears flowed freely as she reached for him. "I'm sorry," she whispered, pulling him into her arms. "I should have fought harder for you. I should have been braver. Forgive me." He clung to her, sobbing softly. "I don't need perfection. I just need you." I stood watching, my own tears falling unchecked, my heart swelling with both sorrow and joy. For years they had lived apart, separated not by distance but by silence. And now, in this embrace, I saw healing begin. Later that night, after the tears and confessions, after the apologies and long-held words finally spoken, we sat together in the living room, 3 generations bound by love, no longer divided by secrets. My daughter turned to me. "Mother, thank you for welcoming him when I was too afraid, for giving him what I could not." I shook my head gently. "No, my dear. Thank him for having the courage to find us, for reminding us both what love truly means." My grandson smiled, shy but radiant. "I feel like I finally belong. Like I'm not a secret anymore. Like I'm home." And in that moment I knew the truth. Love does not erase the past, but it transforms it. It takes what was broken and gives it new life. As the evening drew to a close, I sat quietly, watching them. My daughter, freer than I had seen her in years. My grandson, no longer burdened by shadows. And me, an old woman who had feared judgment but found strength in love. I thought back to that first day when he knocked on my door, trembling and uncertain. I remembered the disbelief, the shame, the questions. And now I saw how far we had come. I whispered a prayer of gratitude, for second chances, for truth, for the healing that comes when we choose love over fear. Because at the end of it all, this is what I have learned. Secrets may hide for years, but love has the power to uncover them with grace. Fear may silence us, but love gives us the courage to speak. And shame may wound, but love alone has the power to heal. So if anyone asks me now, "Who is he?" I answer without hesitation. He is my grandson. He is my pride. He is my proof that love always finds its way home. Sometimes the greatest wounds in families are not caused by anger, but by silence. Secrets may feel like protection, but they become chains that bind love in the shadows. When truth finally comes, it hurts, but it also heals. This story is a reminder that love is stronger than shame, and courage is greater than fear. If you carry a secret today, let love speak louder, because in the end it is not perfection that keeps a family together, but forgiveness, acceptance, and the courage to embrace each other openly. Love always finds its way home,